This has Oilers fans absolutely livid, as there is no way they do this, as multiple reports are indicating that the Edmonton Oilers are making a move in net, and this can cause huge implications going into the next hockey season. Hello everyone, my name is Nikash Ganguli. Hope you guys are enjoying your day whenever you guys are tuning into this video. We have an interesting video today discussing that the Edmonton Oilers might be trading for Pittsburgh Penguins goaltender Tristan Jarry. There has been a little bit of a connection there, so it could be interesting to see if they do make that kind of move. But before we get into why they might not be able to or why they shouldn't make the move, make sure you guys, of course, do subscribe to the channel. We are at 80% of viewers who are not subscribed to the channel right now, and if you want all the Oilers content in the most digestible way possible, subscribe to Oilers Digest, because there are a lot of reports that are linking Tristan Jarry to the Oilers, and the Oilers are being linked to making a goalie trade very, very, very soon, maybe in the next couple days, because they have been decently active this offseason, bringing in Andrew Mangiapane, trading away Evander Kane and Victor Arvidsson, and making the trade for Isaac Howard. So, without further ado, let's get into the bulk of the video. So first things first, we have this report from Elliot Friedman. So this is regarding Tristan Jarry. First of all, does anybody look there? There has been a lot about Tristan Jarry and the Pittsburgh Penguins. The Penguins just made a trade, trading for Artur Shilovs from the Vancouver Canucks. So that is certainly something that would push Jarry out. And there's also the Pittsburgh, we also have the Oilers goalie search from Jeff Merrick, where he says, I don't know how Bowman's going to do this, but I've wondered about someone like Tristan Jarry. It would certainly take some retention on the Pittsburgh side of things. I think this could be super interesting for the Edmonton Oilers if they do want to make a swap in net, try and bring in just a different set of eyes to the team. They are a very solid squad outside of goaltending, I think a lot of people think, but is Tristan Jarry really the solution here? It remains to be seen from that front of things, obviously. So, if we do look deeper into some more reports from Mark Spector, he discussed that he senses the Oilers will go after a better goalie to help Stuart Skinner, and it may come at the expense of Calvin Pickard. So we could see a Calvin Pickard, Tristan Jarry swap, possibly, that could include some cap retention, obviously some picks maybe going from the Pittsburgh Penguins to the Oilers, depending on what the value of Tristan Jarry is. Obviously, if we look at Tristan Jarry's stats, they have been good in the past, but they were not good at all last season. If we look at 2 years ago, actually not too bad with a 903. If you do kind of look at league average goaltending, it's about a 901, 902 nowadays. So really, last season not that bad. And before that, he's always been very solid. It seemed like last year, the Penguins, when they were really bad, they didn't have a lot of strong defensemen back there. As when he really faltered. He was sent to the AHL at times. He only started in 35 games there. And he's usually a 45-50 game starter if you look at his past 2 or 3 years there. So he was the Penguins' anchor for a while back there. He even did post a 919 save, a 921 save in his past. So Tristan Jarry does have a past of being a pretty solid goaltender. So, you know, maybe there is more to meets the eye, what some might say, with Tristan Jarry. I keep getting Tristan Jarry and Stuart Skinner confused. I don't know why. I apologize for that. That might happen. That might happen throughout the video here. But I think you know what? If I'm being very honest, I don't really know if the Oilers should really touch Tristan Jarry here. I almost said Stuart Skinner again, Jesus. But I think it doesn't really make sense, because the 893, and if we even look at the contract here, it's $5.375 million for 2 more years. I would not want to touch that. I think, yeah, sorry, technically 3 more years, actually, because it's this season and 2 more after that, going into 25-26. It's just an ugly contract. He's only 30 years old, which really isn't that old. But the Penguins seem very active in wanting to move him, and maybe there's a reason for that. They noticed something that we don't know about him, which is why his save percentage dipped so bad. But honestly, you could chalk it up to the Penguins' defense being so poor. They don't have a lot of, like, strong defensively inclined defensemen back there. Erik Karlsson and Chris Letang are very good defensemen, don't get me wrong. But are they really, you know, playing super, 100th percentile level defense? Even 90 or 80 or 70? I do not think so, given where they are at in their careers and the injuries they've racked up. Still good players, of course, respectfully. But not that great on the other end of the puck. Great offensive players. Even guys like Ryan Graves didn't have a good season. I think the Penguins were just not great at all defensively, and Stuart Skinner might have... Sorry, Tristan Jarry. Oh my goodness. Tristan Jarry might have not looked great behind such a bad defensive core. And I do want to ask the question, let's just play some hypotheticals here. Do we think that the Oilers' defense is stronger than the Penguins, like team defense, even accounting for the forwards? And do we think that would make Tristan Jarry's save percentage kind of improve back to average 905, 906, maybe even a 910 goaltending? That could be a good question, especially if the Penguins do retain maybe 50% of his salary, because otherwise I don't think Stan Bowman should look at this contract or player, of course. Even then, we can do a little bit of a comparison to the current Edmonton Oilers goalies. Stuart Skinner looks like he's going to be remaining on the team going into next season. And even if you do kind of look at Stuart Skinner's stats, in the playoffs last year, he wasn't amazing with an 8.89. Even throughout the regular season, he was an 8.96. Before, he was a 9.05 and a 9.14. He's been, okay. Kind of gotten the wins when the Oilers really, really needed it. Had some shutouts as well, but I don't know what they're going to do with Stuart Skinner. I don't think it's the smart move to keep him going into next season, but his contract is so low right now where it doesn't really matter. Like, if you look at his contract, he is making $2.6 million for one more year. You may as well keep it for one more year and see how he does with a stronger goalie as his 1A or 1B. Maybe don't lean on him as the starter for the Oilers. I think if he is a tandem goalie, he could improve immensely, and that number could go up. Less games, less pressure, another strong goalie to lean on, whether it be in the locker room or, just on the bench. And that could really prove a lot of good for Stuart Skinner. And someone that might be on the way out, as Jeff Merrick said, I believe, and also Mark Spector, was Calvin Pickard, of course. He was, kind of shoved into this position that he wasn't familiar with the Edmonton Oilers, where he had a 900 save in 36 games, which, you know what, by all means, actually isn't that bad. Scoring is super high up in the NHL, so I don't think it's really that, bad as some people might think is what it used to be. I mean, 900 a few years ago was really bad, but 900 is not that bad. But in the playoffs, of course, he tried, I guess you could say he tried his best with the 886 in 10 games. He was okay, but obviously not what the Oilers needed to win the Stanley Cup. They come up short once again, and it just didn't work out. So I can see why the Oilers might want to move on from him, especially if a team like Pittsburgh could use him as a stopgap between what they have now and their next generation of younger goalies that are supposed to be coming up through their caps, through their system, and the trades they made today as well with Artur Shilovs. Now, quickly, we do have to look at, Calvin Pickard's contract. Only $1 million. It's pretty easy to move. Won't be that hard to get rid of. And then to end off the video, we do have to look at the Oilers cap hit, of course, which really isn't that bad. $225K. They can move out some contracts and get the retention on Tristan Jarry. And then I think this could be an okay move, only if he's at 50% retention. Otherwise, I don't think the Oilers should touch this one bit. But again, guys, let me know what you think of Tristan Jarry making his way to Edmonton. I don't think it's the best move for them. I think they should maybe look elsewhere. Like, I would honestly roll with Stuart Skinner and Calvin Pickard next year instead of trading for Tristan Jarry. But if Stan Bowman sees fit, maybe he'll do it because these guys might know a little bit more than we do about these goalies. Who really knows at the end of the day? So if you guys did enjoy the video, let me know in the comments section. This one was a little bit of an interesting one given the state of the Oilers goaltending. So let me know what you guys think, what the Oilers will do in net during the offseason. Of course, we'll see you in the next video. Peace out and have a good one.